The ambassador of Earth stood resolute before the assembly, a gathering of representatives from every significant power across the galaxy. His expression was unreadable, a mask of stoic calm as he surveyed the alien faces, many of whom could not hold his gaze for more than a moment, while others stared with open hostility. Clearing his throat, the alien at the center of the table stood. "Welcome, Ambassador. We are honored by your presence on this historic day as the Terran Empire joins our union of civilizations." The human ambassador remained silent, his gaze unwavering. The chairman of the union shifted uncomfortably under the human's intense scrutiny before holding up a document. "We have concluded the negotiations for the treaty. All that remains is for it to be ratified by each member of the union. It is my honor to be the first to welcome your mighty empire on behalf of the Radom Dominion," he said, signing the document. One by one, the other ambassadors followed suit, some with reluctant remarks, others with a quick signature, shoving the document aside in disdain. The document finally landed in front of a reptilian alien, who snarled and flung it to the floor. "How can we consider these barbarians our equals?" "Peace, my friend," the chairman said soothingly. "We have already agreed." "You agreed," the reptilian alien interrupted, casting an accusing glance at the other diplomats. "But none of you suffered at the hands of these savages as we have. 24 nursery planets gone, reduced to ash by their war machines. You attacked Earth," the human ambassador replied simply. "A few 100,000 humans dead at most," the alien sneered. "You wiped out entire generations of my kind, whole broods destroyed before they even hatched. Never have such barbaric acts been committed." "You attacked Earth," the human ambassador repeated, his voice hard. He stepped toward the reptilian, standing inches away and staring into his eyes. "We had only just started exploring space, our colonies reaching a small corner of the galaxy when we first met you. We extended a hand of peace, and you spat on it. You attacked Earth." He leaned forward, pressing his knuckles against the table, forcing the alien to stumble back. "Before we encountered you, we were divided, fighting over every resource. But you attacked Earth, uniting us against a common enemy. We no longer fought each other because we had you to fight against." Picking up the treaty, the ambassador slammed it back on the table. "Do you know why we have rules of war? Our history is filled with bloodshed. These rules are to stop us from repeating it. We've committed genocide, enslaved each other, and tortured each other. These rules protect us from ourselves. But there were no provisions for how to act toward a hostile alien force that attacked our home." His voice seethed with anger, silencing the room. "Now you face a unified human race with no rules holding us back except this." He pushed the treaty toward the trembling alien. "Sign it, or you'll understand why we need so many rules." Unable to bear the human's gaze, the reptilian alien meekly signed the document. "Good," the human ambassador said, taking the treaty. "My business here is concluded. Good day." He turned and left, and as the door closed, the remaining diplomats let out the breath they had been holding. "What a ghastly species," one commented. "We should never have agreed to their membership. Our combined might could crush the Terran Empire." "Yes," the chairman agreed, "but at an unpalatable cost. They burned planets in retaliation for not even 1,000,000 dead. Imagine what they would do if cornered. No, it is safer to bind them to us, to try to civilize them. They are rabid beasts," the reptilian spat. "They will spread like a pestilence until they are too strong to defeat." "Then why did you sign the treaty?" the chairman asked. "Because we are not in a position to fight such a savage species," the reptilian replied sullenly. "None of us are. Fighting them will weaken us irrevocably. Get used to the Terran Empire. They won't keep to themselves." As the discussions continued, the human ambassador walked briskly through the Union's Grand Council building, his mind racing. He knew the sentiment was mixed, if not outright hostile. Humans had forced their way onto the galactic stage with fire and fury and now had to coexist. Entering a small room, his aide, Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, awaited him. "How did it go?" she asked. "As expected," he replied, handing her the signed treaty. They signed reluctantly, and a few were openly hostile, but they all signed. "Do you think they'll honor it?" Maria asked. "They will because they have no choice. They've seen what we're capable of. But fear isn't a foundation for peace. We need to prove we can be more than just warriors." Maria nodded thoughtfully. "What's our next move?" "Establishing embassies, initiating cultural exchanges, and setting up joint ventures," he said. "We need to show them we're here to contribute, not just take over." In the following months, the Terran Empire integrated into the Union of Civilizations. Human embassies were established, joint ventures launched, and cultural exchanges set up. Despite initial resistance, these efforts began to bear fruit. On the planet Zixar, a joint research station studied the geothermal properties of the molten core, leading to breakthroughs in energy production. On Merid, human agricultural experts worked with botanists to develop new crops, increasing food production. Cultural exchanges fostered respect and admiration, breaking down barriers of mistrust. However, not all encounters were smooth. On Andiria, a mining dispute nearly escalated into violence, requiring delicate negotiations to reach a compromise. Back on Earth, the effects were profound. Cities became bustling hubs of interstellar commerce and culture, and the planet's diversity increased. In New Geneva, the Terran Council discussed the future. President Eleanor Weiss emphasized vigilance and proactivity. Our presence is still met with suspicion. We need to demonstrate our commitment to peace. Let's focus on expanding our humanitarian efforts, Edward suggested. We have the resources to help struggling worlds. Weiss agreed. We'll allocate more funding to these initiatives. Meanwhile, on Xander, a new threat emerged. The warlike Xander, led by Supreme Warlord Kak, viewed humanity's rise with concern. We must prepare for war, Kak declared. Edward, aware of the threat, quickly arranged a meeting with Weiss. We can't afford another war. We need a diplomatic solution. Weiss agreed. We'll send a delegation to Xander. You should lead it, John. Edward prepared for the mission, traveling to Xander with a small team. They were met with hostility but remained calm. We come in peace, Edward said. We seek to build a lasting alliance. Kak sneered. Why should we ally with you? Because war is costly, Edward replied. Let us find common ground. The negotiations were long and arduous, but Edward's persistence wore down Kak's resistance. Eventually, Kak relented. I will consider your proposal, he said, but know this, we will not be subjugated. I wouldn't have it any other way, Edward replied. We seek allies, not subjects. Back on Earth, Edward briefed Weiss on the successful negotiations. We've bought ourselves time, he said, but we need to continue building alliances. Weiss agreed. We'll ramp up our efforts. In the years that followed, the Terran Empire solidified its place in the Union. Diplomatic efforts bore fruit, and humanity's reputation transformed from feared newcomer to respected member. On Arcturus Prime, a joint medical research center led to breakthroughs in curing diseases. On Phasa, engineers developed advanced underwater habitats. Cultural exchanges flourished, enriching human society. Challenges remained, with occasional skirmishes testing the fragile peace, but the foundations of cooperation had been laid, and the future looked bright. As Ambassador Edward stood on the balcony of the Terran embassy, he reflected on humanity's journey from a divided, war-torn planet to a unified, respected member of the galactic community. The transformation was remarkable. Ambassador, Maria Sanchez said, approaching him. The council is ready for your address. Edward nodded. Thank you, Maria. Let's show them what humanity is truly capable of. Stepping into the grand hall, Edward felt a sense of pride and determination. Honored delegates, he began, we stand here today united in our diversity, committed to a future of peace and cooperation. The applause was thunderous, a testament to the progress made. Edward knew the journey was far from over, but with determination, empathy, and unwavering resolve, humanity would continue reaching for the stars, forging a path toward a brighter future for all. In the days following his speech, Ambassador John Edward found himself at the center of numerous diplomatic meetings and cultural events. The union of civilizations was a complex web of alliances, and maintaining peace required constant vigilance and diplomacy. Edward's role was crucial in fostering relationships and ensuring that humanity was seen as a force for good in the galaxy. One of the first initiatives he pursued was a series of diplomatic missions to the home worlds of the most influential members of the Union. These missions aimed to build personal relationships and address any lingering mistrust directly. The first stop was the lush, forested planet of Alera, home to the Arari, a species known for their advanced biotechnology and deep connection to nature. Upon arrival, Edward was greeted by Ambassador Thiera, a graceful Arari elder. Welcome to Alera, Ambassador Edward, Thiera said, her voice melodic and soothing. We are honored.